I've been treated for hypertension since 2007. I was a regular gym goer and I started to notice a decreasing exercise tolerance over the years, which was rather subtle and slow moving, and you were wondering, have I really got a problem or not? In 2014, as it happened, I was abroad examining at the time. I had an episode for a few hours of atrial fibrillation, which gave me palpitations due to an irregular heart rhythm, which resolved after a few hours. In the spring of 2015, I had a further episode which lasted for much longer, about 3 weeks, and I saw my GP, who referred me to a cardiologist at the Royal Liverpool. The next thing that happened was in October 2016, I was on one of my laboratory inspection visits, and I had an attack of central chest pain pulling my heavy suitcase up the ramp at Euston Station in London, and it struck me that this was an angina attack. So as soon as I got back home, I went to see my GP, who referred me for investigation, and Liverpool Heart and Chest was the only hospital in the area that was offering appointments in a reasonable time. And I was actually seen there within 3 weeks of going to the GP. The coronary angiogram was normal, and my echocardiogram was abnormal, and as well as showing changes of hypertension, there was asymmetrical hypertrophy of the left ventricle, and he said he thought I may have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. He then arranged for an MR scan to be done, which was done right at the end of 2016, and this confirmed the diagnosis. So having confirmed the diagnosis of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, I was then referred to the Inherited Cardiac Conditions Clinic at Liverpool Heart and Chest and was seen by Dr. Cooper. He explained to me that although I had a single underlying condition, basically hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, I had a number of physical problems, including atrial fibrillation, obstruction of the left ventricular outflow, and deteriorating mitral valve function, but they could all be fixed at a single complex or multi-stage surgical procedure. So he referred me to Mr. Pullen with that in mind. Before I saw Mr. Pullen, he arranged for a cardiac CT scan so a three-dimensional model of my heart could be made. It certainly makes things easier to understand. I was in a privileged position being what I am and having the knowledge that I have, and I think it was very easy for Dr. Cooper and later Mr. Pullen to explain to me exactly what needed to be done and what was going to be done. But for a layman, I think it would be hugely helpful in the sense that the three-dimensional anatomy is difficult to understand, let alone what goes wrong with it and how it can be sorted out. So yes, I think it was beneficial to me, but it would be even more beneficial to a member of the lay public. In the clinic, Mr. Pullen showed me exactly where the thickening was by allowing me to introduce a finger into the aorta of the model, so I could feel the constriction for myself, and he explained what muscle he was going to remove to sort this out. Things went fairly straightforwardly from there. I ended up having to have a pacemaker because a significant rhythm abnormality was detected on a couple of occasions when I had a week's ECG monitoring, but other than that everything was really gone very smoothly. I felt well enough to go back to work part-time at the Royal Liverpool in November and December, following which I finally retired, and I was referred for cardiac rehabilitation to the unit at St Cath's on the Wirral, and I've still a couple of weeks to go to finish that. But I feel better than I have done for probably 3 years. I've walked several miles without difficulty. I'm enjoying the gym exercises, and I intend to go back to my old gym once it's finished. I think I'm lucky to be alive now. I feel I was deteriorating very quickly and wouldn't have lived much longer without the treatment, and now I can look forward. I can't speak too highly of it, really. I mean, I was looking at a terminal illness, and now I'm looking at having a fruitful active retirement.